Hello guys, welcome back to GP Tester. Today we're going to be benchmarking the GTX 1660 Super. You can see the specifications of the card on the screen right now, and you can also see the specifications of the test bench I'll be using. First game we'll be benchmarking is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. We're going to be using the high preset and we'll be using FSR 3 using the quality preset. The average FPS the 1660 Super gives us is pretty decent at 73 frames per second. However, the 1% lows and the 0.1% lows especially are quite low at 32 and 17 respectively. I'm not sure if it's an issue with the card or if it's an issue with the game, but I do believe it is an issue with the game because our VRAM is not maxed out yet. So I'm not sure what it is, but the experience isn't very great, and you can see that from the frame time graph where there are a lot of stutters and there are a lot of spikes.
Back on station. Good work.
Next game on our list is Apex Legends, and we'll be using the high settings at 1080p. Apex runs really well on the 1660 Super, giving us an average FPS of 128. The 1% lows are 89 and the 0.1% lows are 83. Overall, it's a really good experience and you can definitely enjoy the game as is. Or if you want high refresh rates, you can probably lower the settings and achieve that as well.
Grappling.
Round 1. Beginning ring countdown.
Ring nearby, 1 minute till close.
Next game we have is Starfield. We're gonna be running Starfield at 1080p using the high settings. We've also turned off the upscaling that Starfield auto applies. Starfield gives us an average FPS of 28, with 1% lows being 21 and 0.1% lows being 19. That is, in my opinion, not a playable experience. However, Starfield does have FSR, which actually looks really good in this game compared to other titles, and it might just be the best implementation of FSR I've seen. Therefore, if you want a 30 FPS plus experience, you can either lower the settings or turn on FSR upscaling to achieve that. Next game we have on the list is Counter-Strike 2. We're going to be playing at 1080p using the highest settings. In Counter-Strike we get an average FPS of 150 and the 1% lows and 0.1% lows come in at 103 and 90 respectively. Overall, it's a great experience and you should definitely be able to enjoy the game as is. Even if you have a high refresh rate monitor like 165 or 144, you should be able to have a really good experience.
Landed. Bomb has been planted. Only one man left.
Next game we have on the list is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We're gonna be playing at high settings at 1080p. In Star Wars we get an average FPS of 41, with the 1% lows coming in at 29 and 0.1% lows coming in at 18. The 0.1% lows are a little disappointing, however the average FPS isn't bad. It is a single player title and it's also pretty slow paced, so I think you should be able to enjoy the game as is. Still, if you want more FPS, you can always lower the settings a little bit, since I was benchmarking this at high settings. Overall, the stutters can be a little distracting and they can be annoying if you're someone who's sensitive, but you can definitely play the game and enjoy the game with the 1660 Super.
Want to get a bite after a shift? Sure, I could go for a turbo dog. I heard they make those out of stripe.
Next game we have on the list is Hogwarts Legacy. You'll be playing at 1080p using the Ultra preset, and in terms of average FPS, we get 42, 1% lows and 0.1% lows come in at 29 and 27. And the experience is surprisingly pretty good. I thought Hogwarts Legacy will perform a lot worse, but it's actually pretty good. As long as the 1% lows and 0.1% lows don't drop way below 30, I think it's a decent experience. Having said that, it's not a great experience by any means, and the 1660 Super is a card that is showing its age.
Oh, hard work and good luck, though.
Next game we have is a Plague Tale Requiem. We're gonna be playing at 1080p using the Ultra preset. A Plague Tale gives us 35 FPS average, with 29 and 27 being the 1% lows and 0.1% lows. This is more of how I expected Hogwarts Legacy to perform at Ultra settings, but the Plague Tale does run pretty fine for a card like this. You can limit the FPS to 30 and it's gonna be a decent experience. Connect the controller, cap the FPS to 30 and it's gonna be a pretty great experience. Especially considering this game is really slow paced and it's more of a cinematic game that you feel rather than you play.
It's ours. Right above the market. Yes. The view will be amazing.
From Firenze. Try them, my lady. Why not?
Next game we have on our list is Dying Light 2. We're gonna be playing at 1080p using the high quality preset. In Dying Light, we get an average FPS of 47, with 37 and 33 being the 1% and 0.1% lows. The overall experience is actually really good, and there aren't major stutters or lags. The card performs as it should, and the game is running as it should. It's a single player title, you don't have to aim, you don't have to move too fast. Yes, there is a bit of parkour in it, but it's nothing like Apex or something, for example. So you should be able to have a great experience playing it at these frame rates.
Get off me!
Excuse me?
Next game we have on the list is Forza Horizon 5. You'll be playing this game at 1080p using the extreme quality preset. And Forza Horizon 5 actually disappointed me a bit. Maybe it's because I turned the reflection to extreme or ultra, but I was expecting more from the 1660 in this game, because Forza Horizon 5 is an extremely well optimized title and it runs a lot better on other cards. I don't know, maybe I messed up the settings a bit, but overall the experience is fine with a 33 FPS average, 29 FPS 1% lows and 0.1% lows, which is really good because that means there aren't any big stutters and there aren't any FPS drops. Next game we have on the list is Cyberpunk 2077. We'll be playing at 1080p high settings and we'll be using no upscaling. We'll be playing at 1080p high settings and we will not be utilizing any upscaling. In Cyberpunk, we get an average FPS of 37 followed by 30 in the 1% lows and 29 in the 0.1% lows. Again, the 1% lows and 0.1% lows being this close together means there aren't big FPS drops and you get a pretty consistent experience, which is a good thing. 37 FPS with high means you probably will not be able to get 60 with low settings either, so just stick with high settings or maybe turn them down to medium to get around 45 FPS average and you can enjoy the game with the 1660.
Weźmy kredyt. Kończymy ze stadionem, idziemy w...
Next game we have on the list is Need for Speed Heat. We'll be playing at 1080p using the ultra quality preset. In Need for Speed Heat, we get an average FPS of 72 with 1% lows coming in at 53 and 0.1% lows coming in at 38. This is more of what I expected from Forza, however I don't know why we didn't get to see those numbers, but this game performs really well and you can definitely have fun playing it with the 1660 Super. The 0.1% lows are a little low, but those stutters are really rare and they don't happen very often, so it should not massively impact how much you enjoy the game.
Aw, cute. I'm serious, he's bad news. We scored big on this one. There's some prime hunting here.
Next game on our list is God of War. We'll be playing at 1080p using the ultra quality preset. In God of War, we get an average FPS of 52 with 1% lows and 0.1% lows coming in at 44 and 43 respectively. PlayStation games are generally really well optimized for PC, except probably The Last of Us Part 1. So if you're going to be playing PlayStation games like God of War, Spider-Man or Horizon, they're going to be pretty well optimized and there aren't going to be many FPS dips. Same is the case with God of War, and if you're going to be playing this with a 1660 Super, you should be able to enjoy the experience. You can maybe turn down your settings to medium to get that average 60 FPS experience.
Even think Thor with Mjolnir in hand could get through that much ice.
Then Thor's a fool.
This should be entertaining.
Next and final game on the list is Spider-Man. We'll be playing at 1080p using the high quality settings. In Spider-Man, you get an average FPS of 77 with 1% and 0.1% lows coming in at 50 and 39 respectively. Like I said, PlayStation games run really well on PC and Spider-Man is no exception, with it giving you more than 60 FPS, which not a lot of games actually gave us. There are a few stutters here and there, but overall you're gonna enjoy the game and they won't really matter once you're in the game. That will also bring an end to our benchmark. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it, and if you have any questions or suggestions, drop them down below.
Someone there? Who's there?